So very welcome to the world's largest, most modern iron ore mine. Välkomna! If you have a quick look up to your right as we travel through the roundabout, you can see a yellow building, a couple of green ones and a grey one. I just want to point out the area to you because this is an area which is also important in this relocation procedure and transformation of the city, because that's the area where they are building most of houses for people to move into. So if you are directly affected by the transformation, that's the area where a lot of people are moving to, both houses for apartments but also attached and detached villas and houses. Så det här området som ni kunde se till höger om er när vi reste igenom, vad kallas det på svenska? Cirkulationsplats säger man. Det var så fint ord. Ja. Det är det område där man just nu håller på och bygger hus för att man ska kunna flytta in i någonting. Om man nu är berörd utav den här omvandlingsproceduren här i stan så måste man ju kunna flytta någonstans också. Och i det området det är där man håller på och bygger både hus för lägenheter men också kedjehus och villor och sådana saker. Vi kommer att titta mer på det på en stor karta sen när vi är nere i besökscentret. Might have spotted already the very long train set a little bit to the left in front of us. And some of you might have encountered those very long train sets if you've been visiting Abisko or Riksgränsen, for an example. The border between Sweden and Norway. Those very long train sets, they are 750 meters long and they are pulled by the world's strongest electric locomotive. Några kanske har sett de här långa tågen om ni har till exempel besökt Abisko eller Riksgränsen. Och de här långa tågsätten, de är 750 meter långa. Och de dras utav världens starkaste elektriska lok. And each train set, they carry a tonnage of between 6,500 and 6,800 tons. And per every 24 hours, 10 of those long train sets leave from here, leave from Kiruna to the big port in Narvik. Så det tonnaget som man fraktar, det är ju pellets som man fraktar på de här långa tågen. Och tågen väger den samlade vikten av det man transporterar är mellan 6,500 och 6,800 ton. Och varje dygn så reser det 10 sådana här långa tågsätt till Narvik, till den stora hamnen i Narvik härifrån. Has anyone spotted the golden car, the golden train car? No? Then we will return to that. The tall building in front of you, or at least with Kiruna measures tall, that's the main office building here in Kiruna at LKAB. And by some it is nicknamed the UN skyscraper. It is said that the architect behind this building, he was inspired by the UN skyscraper in New York. Whether that is true or not, I'm not the person to tell, and if it resembles that. Has anyone seen the real UN skyscraper in New York? Yes? Does it resemble it? Oh, a little bit. You can see the connection maybe. Oh, good, super. Så FN-skrapan kallas den här höga byggnaden i folkmun här i Kiruna. Och det har att göra med att arkitekten bakom den här byggnaden, han som ritade den, det sägs att han var inspirerad utav FN-skrapan i New York. Och några sa här långt fram att jo, men man kan se ändå att han var inspirerad. Kanske inte jättelikt, men någon sorts samhörighet i alla fall. To your left, the building we are passing with the large windows, that's the restaurant here on the premises called the Magnetite. Det är en restaurang till vänster som heter Magnetiten. And the very long painting to your right, that painting is actually 52 meters long. And it was painted by 6 or 7 artists during the mid-80s, and most of them actually worked here on the premises during that time. Så den där långa målningen som ni såg, den är 52 meter lång. Och det var 6-7 konstnärer som målade den i mitten på 80-talet. Och de flesta av dem jobbade faktiskt här på LKAB under den perioden. The buildings to your left, that's the changing rooms here. And from here you can be picked up by a vehicle, your team's vehicle or a bus, and be brought to your working places. Så det är omklädningsrummen, det som vi åker förbi här på vänstra sidan. Och här kan man såklart då bli också upplockad av en buss eller en om man har en här kommer en blå buss, ja. Det här är en sån buss som man kan bli upplockad av och kör till sin arbetsplats. I would just like to remind you that as long you are more than welcome to take as many photos as you wish on this tour, but as long as we're still in the bus, please make sure that you take your photos without a flash, because the flash can disturb Simon and also drivers in oncoming vehicles. So very welcome to the world's largest, most modern iron ore mine. Välkomna! We entered the mine at 230 meters below 0 point. And where we are going to the Visitor Centre, that's located at 540 meters below this mentioned 0 point. And this journey is going to take us just a few minutes. If we were to travel down to where the main tunnel is currently located, down at 1,365 meters below 0 point, it will take you probably between 25 to 30 minutes. Så vi reste in i gruvan på 230 meter under nollpunkten. Och dit vi ska till besökscentret, det ligger nere på 540 meter under den här nollpunkten. Jag kommer att förklara vad den här nollpunkten handlar om sen. Och den resan kommer att ta oss några minuter. Om vi skulle resa ner till där huvudtunneln är just nu, på 1365 meter under nollpunkten, så skulle den resan ta oss mellan 25 och 30 minuter. And there is about 500 kilometers of maintained road in the mine, and then there is another approximately 400 kilometers of unmaintained road. And we are at the moment traveling on the main road here in the mine. Så vi åker just nu på huvudvägen här i gruvan. Och det finns ungefär 50 mil av underhållen väg i gruvan. Och sen finns det ungefär 40 mil av det vi kallar för icke underhållen väg. Alltså sånt som man inte kanske använder till dagligdags. Right now we are traveling under a yellowish pipeline. It's a little bit difficult for you to see if you're sitting further back in the bus. But this yellowish pipeline is part of the ventilation system here in the mine. And it ends with a big fan. And into this ventilation system, 120,000 cubic meters of air is pumped every minute. And then the air is further distributed with the help of those big fans. And we're going to talk much more about the infrastructure in the mine, about the ventilation system and electricity and all sorts later on during the tour. Så den här lite gula ledningen, jag vet inte vad jag ska kalla det för på svenska, vi reste under, det är en del utav ventilationssystemet här i gruvan. Och in i det här ventilationssystemet så pumpas det varje minut 120 000 kubikmeter luft. 120 000 kubikmeter luft varje minut. Och sen så distribuerar man den här luften med hjälp av väldigt stora fläktar. And it's also thanks to this ventilation system we can keep a quite even temperature in the mine, between 14 to 18 plus degrees Celsius. And in the visitor center today, my guess will be at maybe 16 degrees plus Celsius. I think you will find the temperature quite agreeable. Och det är också tack vare den här ventilationen som vi kan hålla en ganska jämn temperatur här i gruvan. Mellan 14 och 18 grader plusgrader då, Celsius pratar vi om. Och idag i besökscentret så tror jag att det kan vara 16, kanske till och med 17 grader. We are getting closer to the visitor center. And I would just like to remind you that please bring your belongings with you. Remember to bring your belongings with you now as we enter the visitor center. Because the bus has to continue on other adventures. So just make sure that your hats and gloves and other bits and pieces we have a tendency to carry with us, that you have them all with you. Så se till nu då när vi kliver av bussen, när vi kommer fram till besökscentret, att ni har mössor och vantar och andra saker som vi bär med oss. Att ni har dem med er när ni kliver av bussen. And when we reach the visitor center, I would just like to ask you to stay for another few seconds on the bus while I get off and open the big sliding doors for you. Så när Simon parkerar här vid besökscentret så stanna kvar bara några sekunder medan jag kliver av och öppnar de stora dörrarna. Så stanna några sekunder kvar på bussen medan jag kliver av. And when you enter the visitor center, you will see that there is a big rack on your right-hand side with hard hats, like the white ones or the white one I showed you. And you will have to pick one and wear it all through the tour. Så när ni kommer in i besöksgruvan så kommer ni se en ställning med hjälmar på er högra sida. Och ni behöver välja en och så behöver ni ha den genom hela turen. So very welcome to the visitor center.
And it was an open pit as it is here in Svappavaara. So it looked very differently, okay? So I think it is a kind of a step by step. The people who are the professionals with the knowledge, they started to become This is the pit. This is where we are right now. This is the mountain of Kirunavara, or was the mountain of Kirunavara. The purple lines want to indicate the area of immediate impact. Down here is the new city center, and we met up here. And we traveled together this way. Anyone, please have a go. So that's how it works. Okay, gick bra.
Flippa! 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 Du är perfekt till och titta! Här!
C'est bon pour les plantes, ça. Tu mets des bâtons dans ça.
Välkomna ombord igen. Welcome aboard again. I just want to remind you that please take as many photos as you wish, but please do remember that as long as we are still on the bus, and now we are on the bus again, please remember to take your photos without a flash. Okay? Så ta era
inga bilder utan blixt så länge som vi sitter på bussen. För det blir störande både för Johan då, som är vår chaufför tillbaka. Let me introduce to you Johan, who is our driver back up again. So it can disturb Johan and drivers in oncoming vehicles. Just remember. welcome above ground again. Välkomna ovan jord igen. Sometimes it can take a few seconds before your eyes adjust themselves to the light. I would just like to point out something to you. Jag skulle vilja peka ut en sak för er. När Johan svänger höger här framme, when Johan turns to the right, what you see in front of you through the front window of the bus is actually an historical site. What you see in front of you now, well, maybe is going to be an historical site, because what you see in front of you now is not going to be there in a few years' time. It's worth give it a thought for a moment. Så det ni ser framför er nu, det kommer alltså inte att vara där om ett par, 3 år. Så det är en historisk utsikt som ni har framför er just nu. Det är värt att skänka en tanke. And in front of you to the right, you can see our ski hill. You see the rift or the pit, and on the right hand side of that rift, that's the man-made part of the mountain, the leftovers, the reminiscence, the terraces from what was once a mine until 68-69. So it's both a ski hill, but it was also a mine, and it closed in 68-69. So that's the mine of Lussavaara. If you look out to your right, and even most probably have to look a little bit over your right shoulder as we turn to the right, you will have a pretty good overview over the rift or the pit here in Kiruna. And in the far end you can see a wall, white-ish, and it is what you think it is. It's a wall in the far end of the rift or the pit. And it's a little bit tricky to see maybe because now you have the shadow on that side of the mountain or the rift. But you can see from the terraces, remember we talked about that they have started to push back material down into the pit. It was actually easier to see when it was still covered with snow. But maybe you can see the areas where they have started to push back material from the terraces. In front of you, as you reach the top of the slope, you have that church. And in front of the church, also red with a tower, but a different sort of tower. That's the old fire station. And there is still a discussion going on if it's possible to relocate the whole building or if they can relocate just the tower of the old fire station. If you look up to the left, you can see kind of brownish buildings. Those buildings they are actually going to relocate. You can see that because they have started to dig out underneath the buildings. I didn't know even.
inside the tourist center. How many of you have luggage in the luggage room? You have, okay, lovely. Yes. For those of you who are traveling with a train, I know that a few of you asked me. So for those of you who are going to catch the train which leaves at what, 20 minutes past 6 or something like that, you can catch the transfer bus. And the bus station is located at the main square in the new city center.
Släpper du av oss där eller släpper du oss där närmare? Men du släpper oss på busshållplatsen och så får du byta eller vad gör du? Vad heter det? Eller kör du med? Jag svamlar nu, säg. Okej.
So Johan is going to drop us off outside the tourist center. But for those of you who are catching the transfer bus, I don't know if you have noticed that there are a couple of bus stops here at the main square. And you will have to catch the bus on that side of the road. There is a bus stop on your left side. That's where the transfer bus leaves. Right at the main square. And it leaves 5:45. 5:45. So we are reaching the end of this tour, this lovely Easter Friday. So from me and Johan and Simon, thank you very much for this afternoon. We hope that you've had a lovely tour and happy Easter. Thank you.